Perhaps you have met him. Macintosh. Are you familiar? He is very revolutionary and is always changing his looks. You've seen him before, trust me. Don't even pretend like you haven't. You know he is truly one of a kind and way hotter than Mr. PC. We have our ups and downs for sure, just like any normal couple. Yet I still love him and I will always love him, even when he's away, ignoring me, digitizing the world. Sometimes I visit him when he travels afar, but he always comes back to me. He is the reason why I can call myself a digital citizen. He is the reason why I can understand and create information using digital technology. Oh, Macintosh, how do I love thee, and how do I owe thee? Let me count the ways and tell you how it all began. I remember the first time I saw Macintosh in the third grade. As I opened the door into the computer lab, I was hit over the head with something pretty hard. Love at first sight. He smelled of innovation and popularity, and he was so striking and unique with his candy-like colors and hip technology. I had never seen such a sight before, and I have never met anybody like him since. Even though I was young and new to the concept of love, I just knew that I could be with him forever. About a year later, Mac, he moved in to live with me and my family. But I wasn't the only one, trust me. I was born in Hanover, New Hampshire, where Dartmouth College resides. And let me tell you, it is one rich, white town. Everyone wears their seersucker pants while they drive their BMWs. They like to show they have money by drinking imported tea and draping themselves in pearls. You know, all those rich white people things. I live right across the river in Norwich, Vermont, a sort of suburb of Hanover, and it is just as wealthy, just as educated, and just as resourceful, but a bit more agricultural. So it wasn't really that special to have Mac move in with me. He lived with everyone in Norwich and Hanover. My two towns loved Macintosh thanks to Dartmouth pushing him upon the community. He was especially popular with the Dartmouth undergrads. Man, did he love the frat parties. Now, despite our lack of exclusiveness, I was really excited to start living with him, and my parents approved of him, so things were looking good. My younger brother really liked Macintosh as well, and I had to deal with some jealousy issues when I watched them play together. Yet it was great to see how affectionate he was towards my family, and I really appreciated how open and useful he was in our household. Mac taught me a lot about this new technological world. God, he was so interesting and fast-paced. And when we were together, Mac showed me a lot of pretty influential things. Over time, as I began to use him more and more, I slowly started to become digitally literate. I learned how to type his keyboard with his friend Type to Learn, click his mouse, he really likes this, and turn him off and on. I learned how to use all of his new applications, and I became super attached to his iTunes visualizer. I didn't really like AppleWorks that much, but it was a nice and helpful feature for schoolwork nonetheless, so I learned to suck it up. Macintosh also had a lot of sweet connections to put on the table. Oh boy, do I remember the day when he introduced me to his closest friend, Mr. Internet. That was the day my digital citizenship was made official. I began my friendship with Mr. Internet by befriending his child, little AOL. AOL then introduced me to his buddy, Instant Messenger. With the name Ringo Dono 1128, I made a grand entrance into the digital social scene. I had so many buddies in AIM. Every day I felt like I was talking to people in my high school that I was too shy to talk to in real life. You know, especially the cute upperclassmen boys. I was making moves, let me tell you. Macintosh really helps me initiate these relationships, and he wasn't jealous at all when boys would hit on me, and vice versa. Now, Mr. Internet was really responsible for launching my online presence into the digital age. Through little AOL and his buddy AIM, I learned how everything on Mr. Internet is instant and persistent. You can talk to your friend who moved away to California, while at the same time, you can hit on the boy next door. It's crazy stuff, let me tell you. Interestingly enough, most of my digital education did not occur in the classroom. Sure, I learned how to type, use Google, and develop an academic voice in AppleWorks in school, yet the real stuff, the things that possess the power to manipulate the real connected world and implement change, I learned by sitting in my TV room with Mac and Mr. Internet day in and day out. Yes, we were having a threesome of sorts. I sure didn't learn how to use Facebook at school, that's for sure. In fact, Facebook was banned at my high school. As Cynthia and Gail, two digital literacy scholars, put it, schools are not the sole and often not even the primary gateways through which people gain access to and practice digital literacies. English composition teachers often have little connection to and a limited understanding of the range of literacy practices that happen in digital environments, reached through other gateways. I learned how information can literally be at your fingertips when you hit send or choose to receive. One click of the mouse, one tap of the key, and everything can change and anything can happen. You can ruin a relationship, spread a vicious rumor, enhance your character, or pave your own path towards self-destruction. Now, to top it all off, who knew who was at the other end of things, reading and receiving your words? The idea about an invisible audience never really hit home until things began to get a bit shady and rocky between myself, Mr. Internet, and Mac. Hence what happened. Two of my best guy friends, Peter and Dylan, had always enjoyed messing with me. However, this one time in high school, they took things a little bit too far. I deleted my AIM account sophomore year. I was on to bigger and better things after I discovered MySpace and Facebook. So these two sneaky boys took advantage of an opportunity and they decided to recreate my AIM account with a slight tweak. Ringo Dono 1138 rather than the 28, and my password was Peter. Damn, no one knew the difference. For a full entire year, they would sign online and pretend to be Meg Donahue. A full year, I tell you. When I finally discovered this little ploy, I was so upset that Mac never told me. He totally knew. And Mr. Internet completely deceived me and let it all happen. Random people would come up to me in the hall, mostly whom I've never talked to before, and would start conversations with me. People would high-five me, call out my name, or just plain laugh at me. I would send emails and Facebook messages from my new so-called buddies. I heard rumors about me that were definitely not true, and I was also asked on dates with people I didn't or would never want to go out with in the first place. This one time, one of my brother's best friends asked me to go see a movie with him. He was a year younger than me, and we never really talked before. So we're on for Friday night, right, Meg? He asked. What is going on? Is this a joke? I am so very confused, I dramatically replied. I was distraught, plain and simple. Peter and Dylan would also talk to random guys and tell them that I liked them or wanted to date them. They did this to a few upperclassmen on the basketball team. That was pretty awkward. I was completely ignorant about this new online presence of mine that was taking over my real life. My online character was going crazy over there in the digital world, and the real Meg Donahue was feeling the consequences. Will the real Meg Donahue please stand up? A full year later, Peter and Dylan finally told me they made a public apology by telling all the people they conversed with on AIM what was really going on. They didn't really think that what they had done was damaging, but to me, enough harm was made upon my social life that influenced my relationships and reputation in ways that I would never and had never intended. They really did mess with people online that I did not know in real life, and these altercations translated into real-life problems with these people for me. Yet I was also able to take away some knowledge after this experience with Mr. Internet. I now understand that Mr. Internet and Mac, they're two guys who can help us find ourselves as well as anything else we want to find. Now, Mr. Internet is a vast, limitless, and powerful kind of dude, and it is important to understand these terms as we reach out and create our online presences. The medium on AIM, Facebook, email, and other forms of digital communication are truly changing everything in terms of how we can relate to each other. After this little identity theft situation, I definitely learned to appreciate the power of instant and public communication, as well as the power of Mr. Internet himself. Online behavior and communication is very unique and interesting, for we seem to act differently online because we don't always see and feel the consequences in the real world. Yet, I learned that Mr. Internet is a pretty influential guy, especially when you can see and feel the effects of the digital world pouring violently into the material one. Obviously, my love affair with Macintosh hasn't been completely perfect, yet I'm not going to blame this mishap on Mac, nor will I blame this incident on Mr. Internet, even though he can be kind of a bitch sometimes. I blame a lack of respect and understanding for the physical presence online in general. It is important to understand the ways in which a person's online presence can create great consequences in the real connected world. I would now consider myself a digital citizen for sure, but the initial stages of my citizenship were a bit sketchy and trialing. When you become a digital citizen, you become a person who uses digital literacy skills to interact with other people in this digital society. And these digital literacy skills can be carried around in a digital toolbox of sorts with you, wherever you may go. With this toolbox, you'll be able to effectively define, access, manage, organize, integrate, create, evaluate, and communicate information in this digital sphere. And of course, it takes practice to develop these capabilities and comprehension. Most importantly, with this digital citizenship and with this digital toolbox, I believe that it is important to understand and respect how your online presence can influence, alter, ruin, or enhance your real-life character. It is important to take the power of your online presence seriously, for the digital world can be just as influential, controlling, and real as the physical world, and people cannot save you from this. You can only save yourself by understanding and appreciating the power and trust you have in your hands and in your ability to travel this digital sphere. Your online presence isn't make-believe just because it isn't tangible. Trust me, I sure felt the effects. Oh, I almost forgot. As for Mac and me, we are living happily ever after. Don't you worry.